Mysterious springs are said to have miraculous healing powers. Monks live miraculously for hundreds of years, and new advances in science and technology bring humans closer to eternal life. How to cheat death and survive forever has been the goal of many monarchs since ancient times. Throughout history, efforts to seek immortality have been documented, but in the end, we still haven't succeeded once. However, there are a few special cases that we may have overlooked in the passage of time. A few individuals or groups of communities were able to extend their lives in an extraordinary way, opening up new possibilities. Clue for humans searching for immortal life. What if we seriously reconsidered the passage of time combined with modern technology? Will we make a new breakthrough? Is it possible that one day people will truly achieve a never-ending life? That's what we're going to try to find out in today's video, the secret of immortality. In 1513, after great geographical discoveries, the Spaniards began to make more trips to the Americas. For example, here, among the mass of people flocking to America, there was an expedition led by this man, Delium. He was different from the explorers who had come here, because what he was looking for was not only a new territory, but also a mysterious water source that was said to have the ability to bring magical energy of life, the fountain of youth. Delium has been fascinated with many stories related to miraculous water sources from peoples living around the Caribbean and the Bahamas. Stories about rejuvenation. Thanks to the mystical water source, it will literally bring you back to your youth. Maybe it's an unbelievable miracle that's been passed down through word of mouth for generations. It is clear that eternal youthful energy is attractive to anyone who is seriously determined to seek it. If there really was a fountain of youth hidden here in Florida, Pascalian never found it because he died in 1521. Yet over the following centuries, belief in the fountain of youth still cannot be shaken. People are always searching for it endlessly, day after day. We can find evidence of that belief in many different cultures. People have a special interest in stories about immortality because greed for life is an inherent human instinct. The brain always brings thoughts that motivate us to want to live more. But where is this magical place like the Fountain of Youth? Is it here, Icaria Island? Owned by Greece, this small island, nestled in the Aegean Sea, is home to about 8,000 residents. In recent years, the world has suddenly taken notice of Icaria, not because of its stunningly pristine beaches, but because of the incredible longevity of its inhabitants. The island's residents live longer than most other places on Earth. Why so? A truly extraordinary land. For every 3 people living on the island, 1 person is over 90 years old when they end their life. Most likely, this is also a gathering area for many people living over 100 years old. Did you know that in the United States, the average life expectancy of a person is 77 years? This means that Icarians live about 10 to 15 years longer than Americans. Not only do Icaria people live long, they are also healthier than other European residents. Residents here have very low rates of cancer, heart disease, depression, and dementia. They are healthy even when they are old. Over the years, visitors to the island have always tried to learn the secret to living a long and healthy life of the people through a series of factors such as diet, sleep, and activities. But no one has really come up with it. What is the conclusion? Scientists also continuously research and point out many reasons why Icarians live longer than normal. Lifestyle and genetics may be important factors to consider, but people here choose to believe in something else, which is this. Natural hot springs are scattered all over the island. They believe that this is the source of energy that helps them live longer and healthier than others. Or in other words, it is the version of the Fountain of Youth that we are looking for. Is there anything special about the springs in Icaria? This issue has even been studied extremely seriously. Over time, with the advancement of nuclear physics, we gradually find out the surprising secrets behind the magic of the island's water source. That water is actually created by radiation. That's right, you heard right, it's radioactive. This small Greek island generally has a large amount of radioactive granite, and one in particular, when decaying, produces radon gas. Radon is a naturally occurring radioactive gas that can be found in home, school, and workplace environments. Radon has no color or taste and is produced from the natural decay of uranium. Radon escapes from the soil into the air, then decays to form radioactive particles that humans inhale. They deposit on cells lining the respiratory tract, damaging DNA and causing lung cancer. Stop here for a moment. It seems like something is wrong, right? Obviously, if what we just said is true, then Icaria's water source must have an extremely negative impact on the life expectancy of people on the island. Why does everything go so completely against logic? That's not wrong, but the negative effects are only with large amounts of radon. In small, controlled amounts, this is a miracle natural healer. It acts like a vaccine, carrying pathogens to the body to stimulate the immune system to work, creating a great protective shield for yourself. Some people think that the perfect amount of natural radiation is the reason why Icaria's magical waters act as a healing machine, caring for the health of the indigenous inhabitants. If the number of Icarians living over 90 years old is proof of the previous assumption, then we have no doubt that more than 1/3 of the island's population lives to be around 90 years old. Perhaps the fountain of youth is an exaggeration of Icaria's hot springs, but the lure of prolonging life is still there and infinitely appealing. Some people believe that the key to immortality will not be found by immersing ourselves in magical waters like the fountain of youth, but that it will be found by actively connecting with the supreme beings who bring stronger power. And if you need a place to clearly feel the sacred connection between humans and gods, then follow me. We are in Varanasi, India. This ancient city is located next to the sacred Ganga River, which has nourished hundreds of millions of people in India for centuries. The Ganges River is also an extremely special sacred place for Hindu believers. For thousands of years, believers have always come here to meditate and pray to show their sincerity to the gods they worship. In ancient Hinduism, men with some divine element in them were called Swami, and they were believed to have a special ritual to attain eternal life that people desired. In the Yoga Sutras, there is a large chapter called Vibhuti-pada, where the ascetic man we are seeing explains how to practice meditation. You may find him very strange, but to those who study yoga, perhaps he is not strange at all. He was Patanjali, said to be the author of several Sanskrit works that had a profound influence on history. What the Yoga Sutras write reveals that people can achieve unimaginable powers and specifically prolong their lifespan if they persistently practice meditation and yoga to purify the mind. In India, through studying ancient records, you will receive many very surprising results. They keep records of how the Swami discovered the laws of the world, understood the operation of the body, and understood the order in which the universe revolves. Thanks to that, they can live a long time, much longer than normal people. If you are still skeptical, I will take you to meet this man. His name is Devra Baba. I know you want to ask me if he is immortal or not. The answer is definitely no. She passed away in 1990. However, the special thing here is that it is believed that he was 250 years old when he left this world. Or like another person, he was Grammy, who died in 1887, but also lived to be 280 years old. According to strange information, just ask an Indian who is the longest living person they know, and most of the time the answer will be Swami Trailhara. His longevity was witnessed not only by many people at home, but also by the British colonial government during the years they controlled India in the late 19th century. Therefore, many things that Swami taught were fully recorded. They testify to the extraordinary longevity that actually exists. For us, it is difficult to think of meditation as an effective tool to increase longevity, but it is different for Hindu monks. And they're not the only examples of people using the power of faith to live hundreds of years. We can look at the Bible. More mysteries will gradually be revealed. The mystery of those who lived ignoring the existence of time. Enos's son, Methuselah, lived to be 969 years old. Not long after that, we had Noah, who also lived up to 950 years. Or Adam also has a lifespan of up to 930 years. all are terrible numbers. The above characters mentioned in the Bible have a lifespan of nearly 1,000 years, and we in modern times are skeptical whether that information can be understood literally or not. Do they really live that long? According to the answer from history, it is very likely that it is true, even though it is absolutely nothing new. Their foundation has existed since ancient times. Not only the ancient documents in the Bible, but most countries and religions have a God who can live for thousands of years, must be immortal, and cannot be violated. All the special gods or people we mention either inherently possess extraordinary powers or have close communication with the Supreme Being. They are guided and given secrets to prolong their precious lives. To get the most accurate view of the power of belief and the extraordinary longevity of a person, we may need to meet the person who is living by faith in that higher being, the person who is truly alive, Swami Shivana. Don't be surprised by his austere appearance, because this man is 125 years old this year. Every day, despite his old age, Swami Shivana still maintains a strict regimen. Every day, especially meditation and yoga. Meditation, as we are seeing, is called pranayama. It is an extremely effective way to control breathing. What they actually did was sit there, regulate their breathing, and make their bodies completely still. This makes time slow down, even seem to stop for meditators, and is perhaps the key to helping the lifespan of spiritual practitioners to be extended according to God's will. From a medical perspective, pranayama also has many benefits for the body. In fact, we have conducted many experiments delving into the power that belief brings. The ability to find peace deep within people or have special connections with the source of life, a higher, more sacred form of life, brings people immeasurable health benefits. Measurement results using modern medicine show that Zen masters or monks reduce metabolism to only 64% compared to normal people. This also means that they only use 64% of what their body provides. So when we grow old and die, we are actually only 64% of the way there. We must admit that meditation, slowing down and looking deeply into the mind, brings a significantly longer lifespan to the person who practices it. That means you, or anyone can achieve such amazing longevity as long as there is enough determination and faith. However, living longer is not immortality. When you live for a long time in a body that still ages and weakens, it's not really called living, it's simply existing. Therefore, many people believe that the way for humans to achieve true immortality is for us to still die and then be reborn in a new body. Personally, I think that is also a very reasonable point of view. After learning about the incredibly famous miraculous reincarnation of this girl, Dorothy Eady, I understand better. When she was a 3-year-old girl, Dorothy experienced a terrible accident. A fall from the stairs in her house caused serious damage to her head. Luckily, it wasn't life-threatening, but this fall changed Dorothy's life once and for all. In the years after that accident, the girl gradually recalled memories of another life, a person from many previous lives. The image of Dorothy's past life becomes clearer and clearer, and it leads us to ancient Egypt. While visiting the British Museum with her father, the strangeness in her mind began to appear. The British Museum is a public museum dedicated to human history. Arts and culture are located in the Bloomsbury area of London. Its permanent collection of 8 million works is among the largest and most comprehensive existing in the world. This collection chronicles the story of human culture from the beginning to the present. And of course, this place has no shortage of artifacts related to ancient Egyptian culture. When seeing those artifacts, it felt like an electric current ran through Dorothy's little mind. The little girl kept telling her father that this was her house. Dorothy is constantly haunted by ancient Egypt and asserts her belonging to Egypt. Maybe you've always been skeptical about that strangeness, and so am I. However, Dorothy Eady proved those doubts completely in vain. She could read ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs when she was only 10 years old, something that even people who study ancient Egypt have to struggle to do. Later, as she received more and more memories from her past life, Dorothy claimed to have been reincarnated as a priestess of ancient Egypt, and even the lover of Pharaoh Seti Thurs, who built the Temple of Abydos. What Dorothy claims about her past life sounds far-fetched and not very reliable. But the truth is that many cultures, including Vietnam, believe that the soul is immortal and that we will always be reincarnated, over and over again, through human lives. Humans do not have just one life. For Tibetan Buddhists, the Dalai Lama is the reincarnation of Buddhas and Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. The line of Dalai Lama reincarnations originates from the first one, Gendun Drub, who vowed that after death, he would be reincarnated to complete what was left unfinished before passing away. Ambassador Gendun Drub gave some everyday items and wrote a verse for them to rely on to find their reincarnation. During the next 2 years, the disciples continuously searched and finally identified the reincarnation of Gendun. That boy knew exactly that he was the reincarnation of the Dalai Lama. Surely there must be a way to verify. As soon as he could speak, the boy told his parents that his name was Pema Dorje. This is the Dalai Lama's real name as a practitioner. When the search party arrived, they placed many different objects before the boy's eyes, and he chose exactly the items left by Gendun Drub and read and clearly interpreted the verse. Just like that, each generation of Dalai Lamas, before passing away, left behind some relics, such as rosaries, alms bowls, and a poem to aid in the search. Additionally, high-ranking monks are said to receive dream warnings, as well as many other signs for support. As such, we even have a lineage of reincarnations, a repeating series of people who are born with souls and memories from previous lives. On the other hand, Kabbalah, a collection of Jewish mystical teachings, also teaches that someone's soul always carries a certain purpose. It was arranged by God before setting foot on earth, and sometimes one lifetime is not enough to complete the task God assigned. Therefore, the soul will return in the next life to continue to complete the mission. Many people can remember their past lives through an impact, usually an accident, physical injury, or even mental shock. Scientific studies on the reincarnation of the soul were also born to try to prove it. But I don't think in the near term we'll know exactly what's going on. Returning to the case of Dorothy Eady, her memories of ancient Egypt are astonishing. At age 29, she moved to Egypt, later married, and gave birth to a son, whom she named Seti to symbolize the special connection between herself and the ancient pharaoh. Despite not having any formal training, Dorothy still became an extremely respected colleague of leading Egyptologists.